This video is going to go over the three basic types of writing that you'll be doing this year: narrative writing, informative writing, and persuasive writing. A narrative is just basically a story. In a story, there's characters who are all hanging out in a setting, and there's a problem that arises. The author writes this with lots of emotions and dialogue and description so you can get lost in the story, with the ultimate purpose being to feel something. Since the beginning of times, humans have been telling stories to each other. There's stories about how the stars got there, how the fox came to be, stories about how apples grow on trees. Like, people used to think that lightning striking was the gods getting angry, so then the people would make up stories why the gods were angry. To be able to tell a narrative is literally written in the human DNA. An informative is like a report or an article you read in a newspaper. There are a bunch of facts, and the author writes lots of facts and hardly any emotion. The purpose here is that the author wants you to know something factual. So you could call a recipe to make pancakes an informative writing piece. Your history book, your science textbooks, all those are informative. When we talk about persuasive, a persuasive text is an argument. There are facts and there are opinions. The author writes lots of facts, some emotions, some expert opinions, but generally the purpose here is the author wants you to do something or think in a certain way. Persuasive texts are honestly the trickiest. If it's a well-done persuasive text, you don't even know you're being persuaded. And that's why it's very important to know the difference between a narrative and an informative and a persuasive. I want you to start to identify when someone is trying to make you think like them, or someone's just trying to make you feel an emotion, or someone's just giving you facts. There's a very fine line when we're talking about persuasion between those other genres, and it is very important for you to know the difference. Because the purpose of each text is different, so is the structure. Here is what a narrative basically looks like. The basic structure of a narrative goes like this. The author describes a character in a setting. You get emotionally involved with the character's life and you start to care about their problem. You kind of start rooting for them to win, to get to the solution. And at the end of the story, everybody feels happy and good. That's the basic structure. Informative reports have a different structure. This is basically what an informative text looks like. There is a topic sentence. Some people call it a main idea, but it's basically the big idea that all the facts connect with. So whatever you want to call that beginning sentence. And then there's lots of facts. And to help the reader understand all these facts and organize all these facts, there's pictures and graphs and bold words, a glossary, images, photographs, titles, subtitles, indexes, table of contents. There's all these other things besides just the words. So if I wanted someone to know like the different religions around the world, I would say a topic sentence like, there are lots of religions around the world. And then I would give you lots of facts to kind of show that. So maybe I would have like one paragraph about religious ceremonies, and then I'd have like another paragraph on religious leaders, and then another paragraph on like the religious books, you know, like the Bible or the Torah or something. On any topic, it's important to be very well informed. Like, that's literally the purpose of all education, is to inform you about things you don't know. And that's why a lot of the books that you're going to be reading in school that are required reading are going to be informative text, informative articles, things like that. The last genre we're going to be talking about is persuasive writing. Persuasive writing is the tricky one because the writer is trying to make you think like them and trying to make you do something. There's an action that is called for in a persuasive writing. But the general structure is like this. Describe a problem, make the reader feel really strongly about the problem, make you agree with the author's way of thinking, and then finally have the reader go do something about it. And honestly, you're exposed to persuasion every single day of your life. Your parents are trying to persuade you to clean your room or do the dishes. The internet is trying to persuade you to click here, click here. The politicians are persuading you to vote for them. Every commercial you have ever watched is trying to persuade you to buy this, buy this, buy this. You need this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the same topic written in three different structures using the three different genres of writing. The topic here on all three of these is a man named Moses. So this first one here is a narrative. I want you to read this by yourself, the narrative of Moses. On your marks, get set, read. Now I'm going to give you another type of writing about Moses, but it will not be a narrative. Now I'm going to give you an informative text about the exact same person. Read this informative text to yourself. You see how in this one there's less emotion? There's no tension building. There's no suspense. You don't feel like, oh, I feel bad for the baby. Oh, I feel bad for the woman. There's like not that emotion feeling. These are just facts about Moses. Now, in this last example here, I'm not going to show you the entire persuasive text. I'm just going to show you how the topic sentence is so you can kind of see the difference between a narrative and an informative. So a persuasive text would sound like this. Being Jewish is very important. Jewish people are God's chosen people. Here are 3 reasons why you should convert to Judaism. That's a pretty profound persuasive argument. I would have to think being Jewish is the most important thing to be in order to persuade you of this. Here's a more scholarly persuasive argument. Moses is a very important religious leader. Here's 3 reasons why you should learn more about him. You see the difference here? This persuasive argument is saying, I want you to go learn. The first persuasive argument is, I want you to go be like this. Slight difference, but it's a big deal. Or you could also have a persuasive argument that sounds like this. Moses is one of many important religious leaders. Here are 3 reasons why you should learn about all different religions, not just your own. Moses is the man who unites multiple religions. You see how I connect it kind of back there? Or you can even be more general and more broad, using Moses to start off your topic like this one. The story of Moses affects many people across the world today. Even though the story first started more than 2,000 years ago, people still tell of his great story. Here's 3 reasons why every student needs to learn the ancient stories. So see how now I took religion out of the argument. Now I'm just persuading you to learn ancient things. So there's lots of different persuasive arguments you can make given the same information. But the key thing you need to know here is this word, should. 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 If any text uses the word should, what you should do, then it is a persuasive argument. Now, within these 3 categories, there's a lot of different subgenres. This year, we're focusing on narratives, informatives, persuasives. With a narrative, there are lots of different kinds of narratives. Within an informative, there's lots of different kinds of informatives. The 3 main categories is what this video is about. But if we look at the different types of narratives, I could easily write the story of Moses as a mystery, where the Pharaoh's daughter is trying to figure out where he actually came from. And then at the end of the mystery, it's revealed he's really a Hebrew or an Israelite. Within the genre of informative, we have biography, autobiography, informational recipes, memoirs. There's a lot of examples of informative writing. Persuasive arguments are often hiding in other places. Most persuasive arguments look like an advertisement, but some persuasive arguments are disguised as newspaper articles or in a letter to a friend. If you listen very carefully to the news, you will hear opinions being shared a lot more than facts are. You are going to learn to write well in 3 different genres, and you will learn to identify the differences between these 3 and how to use the parts of each type for your own purpose. This was simply an introductory video to make you aware of the differences and get you ready to start the new unit.